Hello. Good afternoon. If everybody could kind of make your way to a seat for yourself. Whoever whistled, thank you. That was nice and easy to hear. And first off, I would like to ask everybody to take your cell phone and put it either in airplane mode or do not disturb or turn down the volume, do something, because it inevitably, right in the middle of some really sacred moment, comes on. And Linda might get a kick out of that, but I would like to kind of keep it smooth if we can. Welcome. My name is Linda Finley, and this was Linda Lee's spiritual home for a whole lot of years. She was here before I got here, and Jill brought her several times after she went into the hospital, and it was always a pleasure to see her, her wonderful smile, her beautiful voice, and her beautiful way of looking at the world. And I want to welcome you today. I will be kind of guiding us through this process. I'm going to start with a poem by Henry Van Dyke. I'm standing upon the seashore. A ship at my side spreads her white sails to the morning breeze and starts for the blue ocean. She's an object of beauty and strength, and I stand and watch her until at length she's only a speck of white cloud, just where the sea and sky meet and mingle with each other. Then someone at my side exclaims, "There, she's gone." Gone where? Gone from my sight, that's all. She is just as large in hull and mast and spar as she was when she left my side, and just as able to bear her load of living freight to the place of her destination. Her diminished size is in me, not her. And just at that moment, when someone at my side says, "She's gone," there are other voices watching for her coming, and other voices ready to take up the glad shout. There she comes. And that is dying. I would like to thank Dan Scheidel, Jill and Charles' son, for creating this slideshow for all of us. And we're going to leave it playing through the entire thing. It will loop back around. When it gets to the end, it will just start over. So if you miss a picture one time, you're liable to catch it the next. Just as a bend in the river does not mean that the river ceases flowing beyond what we can see, so we realize that life does not begin with a person's arrival on earth, nor end when departing from it. Life is a continuum. And in this time of celebration of life, we honor the ongoing of a soul while remembering her experiences of learning and growing in this human existence. We're all here today to honor Linda Lee for the role she played in our lives, and to celebrate her life here on this planet. The fact that you are here is a lovely tribute to Linda, a testimony to the way she lived, to the gifts she brought to each of you. Each of us is here today because in some way, great or small, for some length of time, short or long, Linda Lee brought something of value into our lives. Something good happened to every person here because you know Linda. She's part of your life experience. I'm not merely saying that she lives on in memory, although that's true. I'm saying there's something much more than that. She lives on as part of you, finding expression in some part of your life, your thoughts, your words, and your actions. By now, it's probably so much a part of your own good nature, you would have to pause and search, perhaps very deeply, to remind yourself where it came from. When people leave us, the essence of who they are always remains in our hearts. Knowing that this memory is one of inspiration, of joy, and of peace. Let us join in this tribute, not with the sense of irretrievable loss, but knowing that out of this experience comes something very precious, something that will be to everyone here today a guiding star and a promise. And so we celebrate Linda's life as she moves on to the next great experience. And we honor her by honoring the life in this world that is left to us. Let today serve to remind us that life is to be lived. Life is to be celebrated. And we are here to celebrate Linda's expression of life. And Haley and Matt will now bring us one song.
All the miles I have walked at the side of a friend, all the promises I made, and the rules I've bent, all the lessons in my life disguised as mistakes, all the bridges crossed or burned, all the give and the take, all the sunny and the rainy days I've walked through along the way. These are the pieces of me that I leave behind. I don't want my life on this earth to be defined by when I was born and when I died. When you think, when you dream, when I'm passing through your memory, remember me for the love. I have walked the rocky shores, 'neath the big Oregon skies, took a ride on the left road, and I never questioned why. I just trusted in the wind that it wouldn't let me fall. All the tears of joy and pain, I celebrated all, even every goodbye kiss. There isn't one I would have missed. These are the pieces of me that I leave behind. I don't want my life on this earth to be defined by when I was born and when I died. When you think, when you dream, when I'm passing through your memory, remember me for the love. Oh, maybe I won't go down in history. That makes no difference to me. What matters is I burn inside a heart. Oh, these are the pieces of me that I leave behind. I don't want my life on this earth to be defined by when I was born and when I died. When you think, when you dream, when I'm passing through your memory, remember me for the love, oh, for the love. Ooh, remember me, remember me. These are the pieces. These are the pieces of me. These are the pieces of me.
I think Linda would have wanted us to applaud. Linda Gale Lee was born April 14, 1948 at Fort Lewis Military Base in Spokane, Washington, and made her transition on August 12, 2025, here in Eugene. A gravestone lists 2 dates, usually with a dash in between. Those dates are only single moments in time. They're bookends to a life. It's in the dash between those dates that all the things we hoped for and dreamed are lived out. It's that dash that represents all the time she spent here on Earth. We're here today to celebrate that dash for Linda. Linda was the eldest child of Master Sergeant James Oscar Lee and Henrietta Margaret Townsend. Her parents preceded her in death. She is survived by her sister, Melanie Lee, her daughter, Alana, her 2 grandchildren, Angela and Emma, and her former husband, Bill Wolfe. This is just a genealogy of sorts, and it doesn't tell us much about the person Linda was and how she chose to live out her dash. I'd like to share with you some of what her sister wanted you to remember about her. This is an abbreviated version of, there's some full copies of what Melanie wrote in the social hall that you can look at during the reception afterwards. But I'm going to read you, thanks to Deb for giving me something that wasn't 6.5 pages long in 10-point font. So, from Melanie Ann Lee. My beloved sister Linda was born in Spokane, Washington, April 1948. She was a much-awaited child, an Army brat, as our father was lifelong military. Everything was idyllic until our mother had a health crisis, which led our dad, Sergeant James Oscar Lee, to get leave to take the train with Linda down to our granny in Santa Monica. Linda grew into a toddler who frequently had butterflies land on her bright red hair. When our mother, Henrietta, finally got well, she was able to take the train to go down and get Linda to return to Spokane. There were many tears shed, mainly by our mother, as Linda didn't want to leave Granny. When our dad received orders for Japan, Linda was 2.5 years old. Our dad was stationed at Camp Zama, which was at the base of Mount Fuji near Yokohama, Japan. When Linda was 3, Mom became pregnant with me, and our folks went away with Linda to a hot springs bath for a 2-week vacation. Finally, they returned to the post, and it was deserted. The outbreak of the Korean War had begun, and the entire post had been airlifted out to join the fight. Our dad had a high rank and was made camp commander, and the family was assigned a beautiful home in the commissioned officers' quarters on post with 2 maids to help our pregnant mother. Despite the Korean conflict raging and our dad putting in long hours with news of spy planes, Linda was a delighted child. The day came when we became a family of 4. 18 months later, our dad received orders to return stateside. Then when Linda was 5 and I was almost 2, Dad got orders for Virginia. Linda and I were fascinated by our wood house and a porch to play on in the woods nearby. Our mother took us into the woods to see wildflowers, and Linda loved showing me foxglove, which always made her giggle. She knew what a fox was, but she couldn't imagine why a fox would wear a glove. She was brilliant. Soon Linda was 6, and our mother enrolled her in Catholic school and often sent me there with her so she could go to the woods to paint woodland scenes. Her mom loved to paint. Linda helped me on and off the bus and took me with her to classroom, but when the nuns found out Linda had me with her, I would be taken to a playroom. I would wander out looking for Linda, and she would run around looking for me, and we would both end up in the cafeteria eating cheese sandwiches and milk. Linda always had to finish mine, as I could never eat it all. I really adored my big sister, and she loved me too. When we rode the school bus home, I would try to run away. She would chase after me, grabbing me and easily pulling me home with my straps on my coveralls. I was lucky because I had the best sister anyone could have. It wasn't long till our dad had orders for his next tour of duty, and we were going to France. I was 4 and Linda was 7. Our flight was a military charter, 8 hours from New York to Newfoundland. The flight attendants gave Linda and me toys, and we had fun playing and also chewing gum given to us by the flight attendants. Both Linda and I loved France. We were quartered in a hotel that the American military had a contract with, and would sit outside at small tables and drink from the cream bottles intended for coffee. We also loved the bathroom with huge claw-footed tubs that Linda usually helped me get in and out of. She was afraid I would drown, being tall for her age. Linda could get in, and we both thought we were princesses. Soon we had regular housing with military bunks, and our mother drove around in their 4-door Chevy that our parents had shipped over. A GI did the driving while Linda and I sat in the back seat taking in the sights and fantastic stores. We were both happy and soon enrolled in school, Linda in 3rd grade and me in kindergarten. We were picked up every morning for school because all the children were Army brats. She had friends right away. Even as the younger kid, I had a great deal of fun with them, and life was good. We learned as much French in 2 weeks as I did in English. We settled into our apartment, and since Linda was the older one, she would hold my hand when we ran around the corner to the French boulangerie for French bread every day. We loved French bread so much that Linda would break off a little piece for me and a big piece for her as we walked home with our baguette of French bread wrapped in newspaper. One day, Linda and I came home on the military bus. Our mother wasn't home. We went in looking for snacks, but Linda wanted candy. There was a mason jar that held all the francs as small change, as the small change was called. Linda started rifling through the jar, filling up her pockets. I asked her, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm getting some francs because I want to go to the candy store. I want some candy." I said, "No, Linda, you'll get in trouble." She said, "Brat, you don't have to go." I said, "Mother told you that you couldn't leave me at home by myself. I'm too little." Linda realized quickly that if she left me home alone, she would get in big trouble. So she said, "But don't you tell Mother or Daddy." We took the francs and went to the candy store. A French candy store back then was magical. There was a pyramid with candy suckers of all flavors and sizes. Linda pointed to the biggest sucker on the pyramid, while I chose a handful of colorful jelly beans. We found almonds covered in a layer of melted candy of all colors, blue, pink, green, and yellow, which was our favorite. And then we all saw all sorts of chocolate candy, and needless to say, we were in candy heaven. Linda's pockets were stuffed with candy. She paid the woman, and we thanked her politely. "Merci, madame." Both of us on a sugar high really laughed and skipped home. At home, we went into the kitchen, and Mother and Daddy were there. Mother said in a very stern voice, "Who took the francs, and where did you go?" She and Daddy easily figured it out because the red sticky sucker had stained my mouth, and Linda's was covered in chocolate. Plus, candy was falling out of her pocket. I was completely frozen like a deer in the headlights, and then Linda said, "I don't know, there was a strange man outside who looked scary." So we left and went for a walk. Mother slowly turned and looked at me. I started crying at the top of my lungs and pointed to Linda and said, "She did it!" She was the one who got the spanking. Years later, when Linda's memory had faded, I would tell her about our childhood, and we would both laugh at my outing her. She would say, "Do you forgive me?" And I would say, "Do you forgive me?" And she would laugh hard and reply, "Yes, I forgive you. You were the little sister I never had." I would talk of this many times in our later years. Even as her communication diminished, she always had a laughingly loving reply. Linda and I visited Germany on the weekends, especially a small town where the famous Black Cat red wines were made and the fountain from which the red wine spurted out of a black cat's mouth. Linda was almost 10 and tall, so the person there would give her a cup of red wine. I was only 7 and small, so I got non-alcoholic cider. Linda always had beer or wine. When she was 15, we went to the races because our dad was a huge fan. Linda would sneak in with one of her girlfriends to the table with the champagne, and they would get giggly. French and German boys would always try to hang out with her, so she always had a good time. Our dad had a change of duty, and we lived in a village called Étain, which had an Air Force base. Linda was in 10th, and I was in 7th grade. We had to travel every morning by Army buses to our school in Verdun. One morning, small trucks with huge speakers announced for all the military to take packs and go into the field for maneuvers. All of us were wide awake now, and our dad was doing a fast PTA, or in English, pits, tits, and ass. Sorry for the military language. And Linda and I were checking Dad's pack to make sure everything was done. A military bus shortly picked up everyone going into the field. We got ready. We went with our books to be picked up. We were happy, singing on the way for the long ride. Both Linda and I were in the choir, so we sang our hearts out. The bus driver always told us kids he loved it when we sang. After morning classes, we were ready for lunch when a loud announcement bellowed, "All students gather up all your books and backpacks and evacuate immediately." We were taken to the motor people. I was frantically running around looking for Linda. I was crying out her name. A driver tried calming me, and I took a seat looking out for Linda. Other kids started getting on, and I was very upset, and the driver asked gently what she looked like and that she would be coming soon. The bus was slowly filling up, and I was crying. And then I saw Linda, and I banged on the window yelling her name, and she looked up and ran as fast as possible down the aisle. I ran as fast as possible down the aisle and jumped to the stairs. She threw her arms, saying, "Oh, Melanie, I was looking for you." We went to our seats. 2 more kids and a military liaison got on too. The driver started the engine, and you could hear a pin drop on our bus. We were in a state of shock, but saw the sign that we were driving to Paris. We had driven for 3 hours when our driver and the others all pulled over. We were told to stay seated, and the driver and liaison got off the bus. Linda and I watched as they were talking, but couldn't understand fully, and finally the liaison and driver and all the others got back onto the buses. Our liaison explained at approximately 0500 a bomber loaded with bombs was headed toward Berlin. But after 8 hours, when no country would allow the bomber to enter its airspace, the bombing of Berlin was called off. We evacuated all military brats to fly from Paris to stateside New York, where dog tags would identify all you and you would be reunited with your family. Now we're just going to take you back to Verdun, and you'll be bused back to join your mothers. We all yelled yay, and then Linda and I turned around and started singing, and soon everybody joined in. Around 6 or 7 years ago, I started calling Linda every day to remind her of all the good times on the candy store and outing her again. I would ask, "Do you forgive me?" And there would be another loving, laughing replies, "Yes, you were the little sister I always had." Linda and I had many adventures during our wonderful childhood. We were each other's champions in life, and we dearly loved each other. I wanted all of you to know, all of you who knew and loved my sister, to hear about her wonderful childhood and how it influenced her life. This has been written by little sister Melanie Ann Lee, MD. And I want to thank again Deb Jervey for editing that down. There's even more beautiful stories and wonderful things in the long version. There's, I think, 2 or 3 copies in the social hall. It's with deep love and a sense of personal loss that we say goodbye to Linda, a mother, a sister, a grandmother, a friend. Though she's stepped out of our vision, she still lives in our hearts. Each one of you has unique memories of Linda. Linda's messages, memories that will help you with your grief. I know she would want you to share your memories, to help each other. I believe the greatest gift we can give to her is gratitude. And I would like to give you this time to share. So I don't know, are there any family members who wanted to speak first or close enough to call family? And I do need everybody to come up here. We are able to stream this so that her sister, who's in Chicago, will be able to see the service, so.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I'm a good friend of Linda's. This is her daughter, Alana, who was a little nervous about speaking in front of everybody, so I'm here to provide support. You know, I do want to say that I first met Linda, it was over 20 years ago, and my husband was in the Dama Beck band with her, and I would go to the practices they'd have at Linda's house, and that's how I met Linda, was when they were rehearsing. It was back in the early 2000s, and eventually, you know, we started talking about our spiritual beliefs, and Linda was sharing about she was always full of joy and how she believed that we were all connected and, you know, the love was in everything. And I said, I know the perfect place for you to start coming if you want to. And they have a choir, too. And so that's how we started coming here. And my lovely friend Jill was who introduced this place to me as well before that, a few years before that. So it really is a great family here of people that really know that, you know, love is in everything. And you could really see that in Linda. I never saw her not happy. She was always smiling, laughing. And later on, when she started to need some help, and Jill and I would help her, and we would always go out walking and going out to eat. And there'd be a song that would come on the radio, and she and I would sing it in the car, even though sometimes she couldn't find the right words to say. She would always, it's amazing how the brain works that way.
She'd hum it.
Yeah, she would hum it, but there were times when she would, you know, she'd sing a couple of lines, and I'd be like really happy about that. And so she was really a pleasure for whatever we were doing, wherever we were. She, you know, was always just a beautiful, joyful person. And whenever I hear, you know, someone laughing raucously because maybe they've had too much to drink, I'll think of Linda. And when I hear her beautiful lilting voice at the end of Dama Beck songs, in the background of the songs, or in other songs I heard her sing, that will make me smile. And so, as Linda said, you know, that she's always with us. She's changed, but she's always here. And so I just wanted to see if Alana wanted to
I
say
cannot
anything.
speak, but I want to thank you guys all for being here. Thank you so much for being here for her. I have a couple stories. Maybe someone else can read it if you can't. Maybe Linda can.
You had invited a gal from Linda in the
From
last.
her Quail Crest.
She lived in Quail Crest, a memory care center, for a few years.
And this girl, like,
What's the-
absolutely
oh.
loved my mother, so she had wrote this really nice, it's not too long, but super sweet.
Please forgive me if there's profanity in here.
There it is.
Hi, my name is Ashley. Yeah, there is. I was one of many who took care of Linda when she moved into Quail Crest. Linda was a riot when I first met her, a real firecracker. We clicked almost instantly. She had no filter. She walked around with her head held high, not a care in the world. Every morning when I would get to work at 6 a.m., she would almost always be up, and sometimes I would hear her say, "F this cold," or "shit," loud enough that I knew it was because she was cold. And sometimes she would giggle. I like to think she giggled because I, as well as a few other caregivers, would start laughing too, and she could probably hear us. One thing I loved most about her was her smile. It never faded from day one, unless she didn't like certain foods. She was our food critic. She became my best friend, and I mean that. I always made sure she was safe when I was around, always had my eyes on her. She would laugh at me when she'd see me watching her. "What are you doing, lady?" I would ask her. "Oh, you know, just nothing." She really was and still is something very special, and I will forever cherish the friendship I was able to have with her, and I'm grateful to have met her. I love you, Linda Lee. I hope you're enjoying yourself up there. Can't wait to see you again.
And that's the end of hers. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not
She's going to
saying
do it. Oh.
If you could read it, that's cool. If not, that's fine.
Jill, do you want to come up here As one of her close friends who helped her out later, we're gonna
Someone else who likes to talk about
we're gonna make Jill say something. Come on up, Jill. It's not too long.
It's short. But I'm gonna sit
there
so I can.
profanity? No.
No, this one's mine. But I'm sitting because
This is what Alana had wanted to say.
Okay, okay. Okay. My beautiful mother has always been one of my best friends. We always had fun together from day one. When I was a little girl, she always sang me to sleep with her angelic voice. Michael Row the Boat Ashore was my favorite. When I was a young adult, I basically made her attend weddings or parties or get-togethers I was invited to. Oh, no. Where did... Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Yay. Was invited to because I could just be myself and have more fun if she was with me. I will forever miss that. I love you, Mom, forever. That's beautiful. I just want to say that I knew Linda for about the last 20 years of her life, and we were friends first. We met here at the center and watched her sing multiple times and different venues, and then as her dementia progressed and she needed some caregiving help, I helped out with that, and it never felt like work. It just felt like fun, like I was just hanging out with a friend, and we had so many laughs, and I miss her. And I'm sure you all feel the same way. She was just a really special human being, and I'm so glad that I got to be part of her life and got to know her family too. And anyway, love you, Linda, and I know you're still close by. And I had a very special moment after she passed when she always loved birds. And I have a pool in the backyard, and I was in the pool, and I was just thinking about her, and all these birds came, like a whole bunch, and they were just circling overhead, and I just felt like she was saying hello. So anyway, thanks for listening. Love you, Linda. And the last time Linda was here, she was brought by Jill. Jill brought her here that last time. You brought her one Sunday you brought her in from the hospital, yeah. You guys sat right in the back, I remember. Anybody else have anything they would like to share? Yeah, please. For the wild and crazy side of Linda.
I just wanted to share something regarding the magic that Linda had, and being in the band with her for all those years was so much fun. So about 20 years ago, I showed up for a band practice, and I had a headache, and I rarely get headaches, thankfully. And I had also taken aspirin, which I don't take anymore because they make my gut hurt. So I show up, and as soon as I walk into the room, Linda looks at me and she goes, "So what's going on with you tonight?" And I said, "Well, I have a headache." And she says, "Well, just sit down and I'm going to help you with that." I sit down and she puts her hands on the back of my shoulders, and it was like I had two heating pads. And as soon as she touched me, she said, "Well, let me help you with that stomach first." I hadn't told her that my stomach was bugging me. And she just laid her hands on, and I felt this heat and this warmth, and in about 10 minutes, I felt perfect. And I think it's something that she almost took for granted, but I've seen her work this kind of magic a few times. Before we played the Eugene Celebration back in 2006, we were working with a new drummer, and he just got out of the hospital. He was recovering from pneumonia, and he looked like a wreck, and he wanted to show up for practice because he wanted to get up to speed before we played the celebration. And he was just sitting there looking like he should have stayed home. And Linda said, "Why don't you just sit in this chair and let me work on you?" And she did the same thing, and within about 15 minutes, this guy jumped up and looked like a new person and just played the heck out of the drums that night. And so those were just two times. I'd heard about her with this Reiki skill before, but really experiencing it was very, very special. So, and also her voice, the way it complemented Dama's was like magic. So it was a pleasure just being able to spend all those years with her and be able to experience this healing. It was amazing to me. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. Thank you.
I knew about her Reiki work, and she was magical. She literally was. Anyone else have anything they would like to share? You're going to have plenty of opportunity to in the social hall. There's all kinds of good food in there, yummy nummies, so please stay for that. I would like to invite Haley up to sing a song that was one of Linda's favorites.
I never had the privilege of hearing Linda perform this song or sing this song, but I hear it was one of her favorites.
First one we ever did.
Yeah. Was this the first song you and I ever did?
Not you and I, but when Linda came.
Oh, when Linda came. Oh, I didn't know that. That's wonderful. I think this is also the first time I've ever sung this at a celebration of life for anyone, but Linda was a one of a kind, so this fits. I'm feeling mighty lonesome, haven't slept a wink. I walk the floor and watch the door, and in between I drink black coffee. Love's a hand-me-down brew. I'll never know a Sunday in this weekday room. I'm talking to the shadows, 1 o'clock to 4. Lord, how slow the moments go, and in between I pour black coffee. Since the blues caught my eye, I'm hanging out on Monday, my Sunday dreams out to dry. Now a man was born to go loving, but was a woman born to weep and fret, and stay at home and tend her oven, and drown her past regrets in coffee and cigarettes. I'm mooning all the morning and moaning all the night, and in between it's nicotine not much heart to fight. Black coffee, she was so cool. Oh, feeling low as the ground. It's driving me crazy, all this thinking about my babe. How he might maybe come around. He might maybe come around. Black coffee. We love you, Linda. Thanks for requesting.
And thank you to Haley Loren and Matt Treader for gifting us their time and energy today. The word death in Aramaic, which is the language spoken by Jesus, literally means not here, present elsewhere. This definition confirms my personal belief in the ongoingness of life. God is life, the Alpha and the Omega, with no beginning and no end. We've been told by the great spiritual teachings, upon bodily death, we return to God. For those that are left behind, it's hard to think of anything good in death. But the truth of Linda and the truth of each of us is that we are birthless, deathless, and changeless. Each one of us is a spirit that chose to play here in this time-space experience for a while, and then when it's time, we go home. Think of this: a caterpillar builds a cocoon and dies so that it might emerge as a butterfly. With death, we too are born to a new life. Today is a sad day, but it's also one of the greatest celebrations for Linda, the end of one cycle and the beginning of the next. It's not about what happens to us. It's about how we deal with what happens to us. And each of you has something in common. You loved this woman. That alone makes you family. She's your teacher. She's your guide. As long as you remember the joy with which she embraced life, she's alive in you. As long as you embrace the family around you, she's alive in you. If Linda were standing here right now, what would she say to you? How would she help you get through this? Please open your heart and hear the love that continues to live long after the soul has left the body. This poem is by Henry Scott Holland, entitled In the Next Room. Death is nothing at all. I've only slipped away into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way you always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air or solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laugh together at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Play. Smile. Think of me. Pray for me. Why should I be out of mind because I'm out of sight? I'm but waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. all is well. I invite everybody, if you are able to please stand, and if you are comfortable, join hands with those near you. So we form something of a chain, a symbol of the connection of life. She would have a laugh at you all doing this, yes. I can hear her chuckling right now. Oh, lest we pray together, knowing the beloved presence of Spirit. How gratefully we acknowledge the gifts we have both given to and received from Linda. Thankful for the healing of our hearts and the awakening of our soul to the truth that sets us free, we release her now to the highest possible expression of new life in spirit. We celebrate the ongoingness of life and the continuity of love within us all, moving serenely into our lives and guided by infinite wisdom and grace. We truly know that all is well, and so it is. Amen. And thank you for being here on behalf of the family. Thank you for being here, and join us in the social hall.
I just wanted to mention too that when you enjoy some of the yummy snacks that we have, Linda had a lot of beautiful jewelry, and her daughter and granddaughters have taken a lot of beautiful things. And there's a table closer to the door out there where there are some other pieces of jewelry. And if you'd like to take a remembrance of Linda, please feel free to go and look at them and take one home with you.